tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Never ever. Hello, AfterBuzzers. Heck yeah.
Never ever. That's my jam.
Anytime you can ever use this song to open a show, I will. I'm a huge Taylor fan. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Season 2, Episode 1 of Undateable, called Japanese Businessman Walks into a Bar.
All of that is
yes.
the title.
If I got that right, if I got that wrong, I'm not quite sure. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. If you guys haven't done so already, please go on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, rate, review, subscribe. We really appreciate hearing from you, and we're so excited to be back for a second season of this show because both of us were here last season, and we just really appreciate what you guys have to say. And if you want to talk to us during the show, you can use the hashtag ABTV Undateable. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can tweet at me at SamD43. I have my lovely co-host here with me.
Hey everyone, it's your host Stacy. I'm super excited to be back for Undateable. Just like Sam said, we were here last season, so we're super excited to see them get picked up and do this all over again. I'm your host. I just said my name. I'm kidding. My Twitter is @OneTakeStay. So if you guys want to tweet me during the show, I'm totally down for that.
Yeah. So. Let's just, it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
Since this started last year, and it was a bunch of stand-up comedians that wanted to put a show together, and they did. And almost all the writers on the staff are stand-ups as well. And you can tell that, you know, through all of the dialogue.
Right.
So last season, and the show is based around Chris D'Elia, you know, his character, Danny. And this episode, though, is more about Brent Morin's character. Justin.
Which makes me happier. Because I'm obsessed with him. But anyway, keep going.
And I, you know, as much as we all love Chris D'Elia, I think that Justin's character as a whole, you know, being a good guy, you know, he has a good heart.
Right.
Chris D'Elia, you know, Danny, not so much. So we kind of start off with his journey and his relationship with Nikki, which is really non-existent.
Yeah, it was so interesting because I was asking you before we started, I was like, did we miss an episode? Because it literally picked up from exactly where we left off. Like, you know, we found out that Nikki was leaving town to take care of her sick family member, and we picked up right from, she's still out of town, and we're still not really together. And, you know, Chris and the banter was literally like the conversation they left off with. So I thought that was so interesting for a year later, because if you didn't see the season finale or weren't into the show, you might be confused. Hopefully you weren't, that it was like easy to follow. But I know for a minute I was like, wait, what happened? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a sitcom like this, like with a Game of Thrones or True Blood, sometimes we do pick up right where we left off at that dramatic moment. But oftentimes with sitcoms, not so much. It's a day-to-day life kind of thing. So when we both watched it today, we were both like, oh, whoa, okay, I'm ready.
Right back. Exactly. It took me a minute.
Yeah. So, you know, we find out that Nikki is still not there and is kind of stringing Justin along.
Which I didn't really expect them to say that she was stringing him along. But I guess once the episode played out, I was like, oh, I guess she is. But, you know, because the way she left, she was sincere. She did have a sick person, and she said, I love you. So I was like, they're together, just long distance. But, you know, Chris slammed that out the way.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, Danny pretty much tells Justin that she's dating other dudes.
Right.
And he literally says it to his face. And he's just like, no, but, you know, we're just, like, taking it day by day. And he meets some new girl, Erica. Who is very pretty. Like, the way they made this girl's character would be that she was kind of like a plain Jane, nothing. This girl was gorgeous.
Exactly, gorgeous. He would have been lucky to have her. I mean, come on now. Especially, no offense, of course, Brent Morin is like a really cool dude, but Justin himself is such a geek and a nerd. At least that's how he's portrayed. So for him to be in Erica's presence, I was like, boy, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that, you know, Danny didn't sweep her up.
Honestly, I like that because Danny's showing me, at least in this episode, that he could have girlfriends that are not his, what did he say, dangers, or I dang you, or whatever he said.
So, something weird that is probably in Crystalia's set
right.
that I don't really, you know, I love him as a comedian sometimes when he's not super offensive to women, which it's fine, and it, you know.
Or it's not fine, but whatever. But whatever.
Whatever we're supposed to say.
Right.
So let's just talk about Justin. Let's finish his thing up. He is basically, in my eyes, he's kind of the new star of the show. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which I'm A-okay with.
A-okay as well. Right,
because there needs to be a yin and a yang. Mm-hmm. And I think that there was too much of the douchey last season, and they're trying to soften it up. And, you know, Justin's character was softening it up, and he's going to be a bigger... He already was the secondary character, but I almost feel as though Crystalia's character was secondary to his in this episode.
I totally agree, and I do think it is fun because I always thought that Justin's character had a lot more stories, a lot of different sides. Like when he shows us douchey, it's very different, and then he'll give us the sweet guy, then he'll give us a business guy, the owner of the bar guy. I mean, Danny was very one-dimensional last season, so I feel like this is cool to see a transition. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, but we see him having this one-night stand with this really beautiful girl. And Erica, walks out of his apartment the next morning and just, you know, thinks she knows what it was. And Danny tells Justin to basically, you know, be like, just let her go, you know, like, but he can't help it. He tells her he wants to go out with her again. Right. And it's just literally instinct. But for me, I'm like, why wouldn't he want to go out with her again? She's gorgeous and way out of your league.
It's because of Nikki, who is also gorgeous and way out of his league. But that's not the point. He is very hung up on Nikki. He thinks that they are still together in some sense and that they're always going to be together regardless of the fact that she doesn't live there. So I saw what was happening. I just thought it was so funny that he was acting like he repels her or something. I was like, are you serious? You know, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and the fact that she was so kind of like into that.
Yeah.
And that she thought that she wasn't good enough for him.
Right.
We talked about this last season, and I'm very glad that they listened to us, that we need more female characters on the show. Yeah. They brought us a new character.
Yeah, Miss Bridgit Mendler.
Yes, Bridgit Mendler, who is she's a big Nickelodeon, Disney.
Yeah, Disney.
Okay, she's a big Disney star.
Yep.
She, Bridgit.
Yep.
And her name is Candace on the show.
Yeah, I really like her. It's so funny because I've been following her Instagram a lot in the past month, and she's been super excited about being on the show. And they're like on set dancing and singing, especially with Brent, and, you know, just having a ball. And so I was definitely excited to support her and see her in this new journey because she, you know, there's a stereotype that a lot of Disney characters don't successfully transition from Disney to the outside world, I guess. And so seeing her go from that to NBC, I was like, this is cool, because she did both very successfully. So I was definitely supportive of it.
Yeah, she did her character very well, and I can't wait to see her grow and everything. But I mean, she's a stupid waitress. Is basically set, like, there's no, I mean, no one really is like a powerful person. I mean, powerful in their own right, absolutely. But as far as careers, you know, someone, you know, they own a bar.
Right.
I mean, it's basically Justin.
And Leslie, what do we know? What do we see or know? We don't really, she's kind of like the backup person, you know, like the backup tuna Danny or the backup tuna Justin. I don't really know what she does.
Exactly. I'm not clear what her purpose is exactly.
Right.
Except for being Danny's sister, of course, and she's an amazing character, but I know that they're trying to link her to someone, not to get in predictions. I think it's Barosky.
I could see that.
Yeah. I think they might have a thing, but you know what? I'm glad that Candace is on the show now.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
And she might be stupid, but she's nice. I hate that she's stupid. I really kind of hate that she's stupid.
Right.
I mean, does it bother you a little bit?
I honestly didn't expect that. She didn't really give us a lot, especially, like I said, I've been following her on Instagram, and she didn't give me that she was going to be a waitress. I had no idea she was going to be a waitress, actually. And I didn't have any idea she was going to did the small bits, I guess. Wait, where are we going and what's happening? I didn't expect that.
But it worked.
It worked. She's great comedic timing. I will definitely say that. But, It would be cool if she was like a student. That would be fun. You know, it's very possible for a student to hang out in a bar or whatever the case is and interact with these older people. And that could have been an interesting perspective too. But we'll see. Maybe she does grow and evolve and quit. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, from what you said, me as well. Total weirdos over here. I follow all of them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever.
Course.
And I've, Bridgit Mendler has been like in every picture these guys have been taking. She's like laying across all of them.
Right.
And so, her character is obviously going to grow. If you think about it, her character would make the most sense with Justin, but we don't
really.
I mean, they're very similar to me, but at the same time, opposites attract, and you don't know.
Right.
But then I'm also thinking, God, she could be great with Danny. I mean, he's probably going to take terrible advantage of her.
But isn't she super young, or isn't she supposed to be super? Well, not
she
super.
serves alcohol, so she has to be at least 21.
Interesting. Her and Justin. I never thought about that. I'm not that mad though. I kind of like that.
Well, but then I thought about her and Danny today.
Yeah, I can't do that. No.
Well, I mean, let's talk about him for a minute. Why wasn't he the main purpose of the first episode of the second season? Is there a reason? I mean, it kind of seems like he's a godfather of these guys. He's like, okay, men.
Right.
You do what I tell you, and I'm going to help you.
Hold on. Yeah, he was doing all that this episode. I don't know. It's funny because when I saw it and I noticed that he was kind of paying second tier, I didn't really have a problem with it. But now that you brought it up and really said but why was that? I was like, oh, I didn't even realize it. Because to be honest, last season there were a couple episodes that he kind of shied away. Mm-hmm. So I think they were always playing with the Justin and Danny type of dynamic. And anything Justin does, Danny's going to be involved. And anything Danny does, Justin will be involved. So overall, they're probably both the star kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just one time it might be a Justin issue, and maybe next episode will be all about Danny. I guess we'll have to see.
Well, just as a reminder for us here and all the watchers, let's talk about Danny's love interest real quick from last season.
Yeah.
What was it? Susan Sarandon's daughter?
The
lovely.
I'm gonna Google.
I know. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, you guys, but could we talk about how we ended that really quickly, though?
It was weird and very incomplete.
And she's not back.
Yeah.
So we're not really sure. But she was the only woman/character that Danny actually had a connection with.
Yes. And admitted it.
Yeah. And now, but I remember at the end of last season, I mean, this is the kind of thing that's so hard about these mid-season shows.
Right.
Is that it takes so long for them to come back.
That's what I was saying when you mentioned that it had been almost a year, I go, whoa, I totally forgot that, for one. And then two, the way it picked up was just exactly where we left off. And that was a little tough for me because I was like, I didn't even, I remembered most of the things. I definitely remember Nikki wasn't there and what happened, but I totally forgot that they would, literally the conversation was.
Sabrina was the
girl,
yes.
Yes.
And I think at the end we kind of, she maybe had some issues with Danny, but I assumed she was going to be there, but they needed a new female cast member, which is why Bridgit Mendler, I think, is there, which is awesome. And as weird as it is, Friends laid it down basically because
I was just about to say that
everyone's got to be into something. Everyone has to have a pair.
Yeah.
And Friends, I have no problem with any sitcom redoing Friends.
Yeah.
I think that is the best formula that you could possibly do to have a sitcom.
I thought How to Get Away with Murder. How I Met Your Mother was a good.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say all sitcoms should copy it or whatever. They can't be good on their own. But that was just a really cool sitcom that had that 1-2. Steven, do you agree? You were shaking your head a little bit. I couldn't tell.
No, it's not.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Just making sure, because if the producer agrees. Anyway, I thought that was a cool thing. And so it would be interesting to see how Undateable does that. But wouldn't they would need one more female character. And then they would need
that's actually smart.
Yes, that's really giving us character up, down, turnaround, dimensions to them. Just, some kind of plan, maybe what do they do, what are they into, we get to know them, So we'll see. I mean, they're only in second season, they're only in season 2. And so a lot of shows, they grow with their characters and we grow with them. And since we started from the beginning, it's awesome because I'm already seeing Justin grow tremendously. I mean, I really wasn't sure what he was doing in the first couple episodes and who he was. So now I'm sure of him. I really want to see, is it Boosky? I forget his real name. Broski? It's not Broski.
No, it's Barosky.
Barosky. Okay, so Rick Glassman. I'm a huge fan of him as a person. So as his character, I'm like, okay, let's develop. Let's see like where he's gonna go. I would love him to get a love interest that's not so what he's doing right now.
Well, let's talk about Barosky for a minute.
Okay.
What is he doing?
I know. You know what? When you mentioned that the writers have all had a stand-up background, which is very apparent. But this episode with the one-liners and the like slapstick type of humor, you could see that more, especially in Ron Funch's character, and Rick's character, because their responses are just such one-liners. Literally, if you're not paying attention, you will miss it. You know, so I noticed that a lot, and I was thinking, okay, that's cool, but it doesn't give me character development with those two specifically. So maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe they're supposed to be kind of just the fun fill-in characters, but I like them both, so I would love to see more.
Well, you know, I think that, like, I am a stand-up comic as well, and I'm a writer, and is that creating a television show, I think they are kind of creating it as though it's on stage, and it's not. Isn't
it on stage, though? Don't they do it live?
Well, no, it is. They do it live, but at the end of the day, it's still on TV. So there's like, you know, there's been so many comedians that have tried to make TV shows, and they don't get work. They don't work. They get canceled. This show got picked up for a second season, which is a huge deal, and I'm so glad and grateful that it did. But the reason that a lot of them don't is because it's not a lot of character development or drama development, whatever, story. It's just about the one-liners. And that it's funny for as long as that can last, but to get a viewer coming back every single week, you need something to bring them back.
Right. I need to know. I need to be invested in somebody's relationship. And right now, I'm very invested in Justin, but I do want to know. Like I said, I love Shelley and Rick's character a lot, so I'd love to see more of them. And even I can't remember his character's name, but Danny Flint, is that his name? The British guy. He's actually Australian, but I love his character so much. And so this episode was really fun. You know, he was talking about the bud and stealing Leslie's butt and everything. That was hilarious. I love seeing him put in his opinion too. So we'll see. We'll see what they bring.
Well, you know, because every single character in this show is funny in their own unique way.
Absolutely.
But they also need to have a purpose.
Absolutely.
And I think they do. But we're still kind of getting at this. Because when Friends started, I hate to keep on comparing this to Friends, they need another girl. They do. And I'm sure they will get one. But there needs to be a dynamic of community, why they're all there together, what it is that they do.
Right.
And like you said, we still haven't really established what everybody does for a living except for Justin that owns a bar.
That's so... I totally forgot that literally I don't know what any of them do. That's weird. I thought it was just Leslie, but you're right. I don't know what Shelley does. I don't know what... That's weird. Okay. And you brought up an interesting topic. What are the other shows that you said got canceled? I'm not aware of a lot of them.
I mean, Whitney Cummings had a show, which was very funny, that Chris D'Elia played her husband, called Whitney. That was canceled. I believe he had another show that was canceled that was before that, just a stand-up show. There's been a lot. I can't think of them at the moment, but it's kind of a hard thing to transform what you're doing on stage into a script.
Right.
Because TV isn't just about being funny and making one-liners. That's what you go to comedy shows for. It's about creating a story.
Right.
And following the characters.
I totally agree.
And I think they're starting to do that. I mean, I certainly hope so. I mean, with the two sub-characters that we were just discussing.
Disgusting. Was
that a Freudian slip? I don't know. Barosky and Shelley.
Yes.
Who are very important. We all know they're hilarious comedians. Right. They're important characters on the show. They're on the billboards.
Right.
But they just don't get as much time.
Yeah, honestly, like those two are... I don't know. I wish I knew if like they were roommates or something. Or do we know like who lives with who?
Well, we got to see at the end of the episode Barosky's apartment.
Yes. So he lives alone, actually.
I guess. Yeah. It was like, it kind of looked like a dorm to me at first. And I was really confused. I was like, this place looks really weird. Like, there's bunk beds on it.
It looks like his character's place. That's what it looks like.
I mean, I know ages and numbers don't matter, but could we like talk for a second about how old these guys are supposed to be? Really, I mean, I think Crystalia's, Danny's character is supposed to be the oldest.
I agree.
Which is
probably
36
something. You were like, I guess I think mid 30s.
Yeah, mid 30s, and everyone else is, we don't know what they
falls. I think everyone falls in between that and probably 26. So I could see if like Barosky was like 26, 27.
Oh, he's not.
I mean, you don't think, like, not in real life, but I mean the show. You think that's crazy?
Well, no, I think that Candace could be that age.
Like 24? Yeah.
But, I mean,
so maybe they're all in their 30s.
I think so. I mean, because the point is that they're undateable, that they've tried to be dateable.
Got it.
I guess.
Right. You're right, yeah.
But it's confusing. I really do love this show, and I love the character development, but there's sometimes some things that I just want to be put together more nicely.
Yes,
Maybe it's because I'm a girl, and I just want all the dots to connect.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right.
Really quick, I want to talk about Leslie because I think she's an important character, and they're starting to develop her as a more important character.
Cool.
We talked about earlier that maybe she could have a thing with Barosky, or, I mean, who does she have a thing? Like, what is her purpose on the show?
Well, like you said, I think being Danny's sister is an obvious purpose, but we don't really know why we're attached to her. We know that she's the female character. She's fun, she's strong, she's opinionated, she's funny. She kind of has like a slight drinking problem that we don't really talk about. But so I think those are parts of that we identify with or that we have fun with or whatever. But overall, I think the fact that I don't know what she does is kind of weird, and that I don't know, like, I don't need her to have like this outlandish love life or anything. It doesn't need to be that could be typical. But knowing her a little bit more, what were her and Danny like as kids? I mean, what are their parents like? That would be so cool if we knew what their parents are like too, because there's 2 siblings on one show, so their parents got to come on sooner or later.
Truth.
That would be fun. But I don't know. I like her as a character. I don't know her too well. So like I said, I don't have a problem with getting to know her. I don't have a problem with the fact that it's only season 2 and that, they're going to take us through their journey. Because even in Friends, I didn't know everyone until like season 3.
Right. And with that being said, like all these seasons of Friends were 20-some episodes.
Right.
The first season of this show was what, 10?
Yeah, 10 episodes.
Yeah. And
10 or 11.
I'm not quite, I think this season is probably going to be about the same.
Right.
I mean, I don't really understand the logistics of television and how they do these things and how they decide, I mean, they gave this a second season, which is good enough, but they're going to need to do a lot of really quick character development, I think.
Right. Well, I think also because it's a mid-season show, so it's like, is it a summer show? Is it considered a summer show, or does it even end before summer? I don't remember when we got off last year, but anyway,
it was when we did this show last year, it was the start of a summer show.
Okay.
We're doing it a little bit earlier now.
Okay, got it. Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll go longer. Maybe they won't. Because remember at the end they were like doubling up episodes too, and that was kind of confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like that today it was just one great episode to go through, figure out, and then next week you'll give me something else, and we'll just keep going like that.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got the network has established this as a show that they are supporting.
Yeah,
and not just going to throw at us several episodes at a time. 8 episodes in one. Yeah, that's not fun. Okay, before we finish, I just want to talk about Bridgit Mendler again.
Okay.
I don't know why, because I think I have little sisters. It's just they're in high school and they love her. And when I saw she was part of this, I was very excited about it. I want to know where we think this character is going, because I potentially think that this girl could be the girl of Undateable, the female face of Undateable.
Very possible. Honestly, with the billboards, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's killing it right now. And so I was definitely excited, commented all through the pages, and usually I do not like commenting because you're never going to read it. But Bridget, if you did read it, what's up, girl? How are ya? I loved her on Good Luck Charlie, and I love that cast. So I'm really excited to see her, like I said, make a very successful transition. And I'm not sure where she'll go necessarily, but I did kind of like how you said she could date Justin. If they're in the right age bracket, I'm down with that. Maybe some school would be cool. I would appreciate a book bag here and there just to figure out why, is she a struggling actress like that? Something. Give me something. Give me a reason she's working at this diner that she's not actually good at. That would be cool. Well,
it's just we're in Detroit. And
she could be an actress in Detroit. They act.
I know. I mean, it's just such a, I'm from Cleveland. No hate against Detroit. I feel you guys. But really, though, like, what are you doing there? But besides, working really hard, raising families, and all that stuff. But just being a beautiful waitress.
Being young, yeah.
What's the point? It's kind of as though like all these Hollywood comedians have come into quote unquote Detroit, and they're kind of just trying to figure that out.
Right.
I don't know. I think I really like this show a lot, and I support it. But I think that as far as character development and plot development, story, all of that, I want to know a lot more.
Exactly. I agree.
And it's good we want to know more. At least we're interested.
Exactly.
So we would love to know what you guys think, what you think that they need more of, we need more of, anything.
Do you agree?
It's kind of, this show's like it's kind of a shot in the dark. It's a cool show, but it's done by a bunch of stand-up comedians that don't exactly have, they have amazing writers on staff, but the story development, like we said, is a little bit lacking. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Agreed. Do you have any like crazy predictions you're hoping for next episode?
I don't know. Let's get into it. Let's get into predictions. Okay. You start.
Okay. Well.
And now your AfterBuzz TV
predictions. I just love that so much. Okay, let me stop. I am hoping, like I said, I just realized that I really want to see their parents. I didn't even think I wanted that, but I definitely want that. I definitely want to see where Danny's from, who raised him, like who raised Leslie, what's their relationship besides just like we're siblings and we live in the same place. Like, what's up? What did their parents want them to be doing? Or what did they raise them to be? Or are they religious? Are they non-religious? Are they Democrats? Are they Republicans? I don't know. That'd be so funny. It'd just be cool to see that. And in terms of next immediate episode, I think that Justin is going to take a trip and see Nikki, or Nikki's going to come back. Or I really hope that, because she's also on Ground Floor, the main actress, which I can't remember her name right now. But she's on Ground Floor, and it's a great show on TBS. But I would love for her to jump back and forth, because I really loved her. I loved her in the show. And she was another female character that was fun and strong and funny. So maybe if she comes back, I'll be like, oh my God, well, I'll root for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think Justin definitely needs some closure. So she has to come back either way.
Right.
But I think that he will move on with Candace, and then there might be some weird. I'm getting some psychic weird vibes that there's going to be some weird love triangle between Danny, Justin, and Candace.
Interesting.
I know it's weird, but I feel it, man. I don't know what it is about it. And Barosky and Leslie
might hook up, get together.
I think that maybe we will find out that they have been, and that they've just been keeping it a secret.
How funny would that be? I actually would love that plot twist.
Well, because we don't see him enough to really if that were to happen, to be like, I would believe no.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him enough to really know what is going on in his life or her life, for that matter.
Exactly. So if they told me that happened, I'd believe them. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why they're always so weird and awkward, whatever.
That could work.
I don't know.
That could work.
We'll see. Well, we're so excited about the season, and we are so excited that it's back.
Yep.
Thank you so much, NBC. Where can we find you online?
You guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. I'm also here doing a couple other shows, so just check that out. Please tweet us up until next week, because we will be here next week on Tuesday at 9 talking about Undateable.
Yes, and again, you can find me Twitter, Instagram, SamD43, and online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com. Tweet at us, talk at us, comment. We love everything we hear from you, and we can't wait to talk to you guys next week.
Yay! See you guys. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or
From
principals.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV...